So, did you miss us, folks? Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Hat and the weekly recap number 59. I am here with the awesome ambassador and the awesome nerd with the cigar, Kate. How are you both?
Doing pretty well.
I'm super. Thanks
Awesome,
for
awesome.
asking.
Awesome. And we are here to discuss Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, Disney being funded by the U.S. Biden administration, and what was that other one? Right, Deadpool Wolverine. Rob Liefeld fucking gets shafted by Marvel and says fuck off to him and basically quits. So we're going to get into that, and then we are going to discuss the awesome, most epic comic book adaptation I have ever seen. We're going to be discussing Dredd. Yeah.
Dredd.
Now, folks, we didn't go live yesterday because too many people wanted to watch the biggest grift of national sports and television, the Super Bowl, where they were going to watch a bunch of cheesy-ass commercials and rigged Super Bowl game. I mean,
if it were rigged, the
obvious.
Chiefs would have won. Just saying.
No,
That's true.
It was rigged because, or no, I still maintain. All right, I will say this. I will change my position right here now. It was rigged up to the final game.
No, the final game is usually rigged. Why do you think the Saints won right after Hurricane Katrina?
Good point.
That's true.
But I can't stand. I stopped caring about fucking football and shit mid 2000s at the latest.
I just wanted to watch the Chiefs lose, and boy, did I!
Yeah,
I
and
heard,
it was.
I heard the Eagles. I heard the Eagles. No,
They
folks,
stuck
I
them.
was contemplating whether or not we should do the Taylor Swift gets booed while Trump gets hailed and whatnot. But I decided, you know what? I don't fucking care enough about the Super Bowl to actually do it. Hey, Ryan Kitty, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, that new Batista and multipass sci-fi western, Don't Look Back. I have no fucking idea what that is. No offense, Conroy. I just have no idea what it is, man.
I will say
But
there
thank
were
you to
there,
everyone.
there
And
was
hello to Vanya.
there's one thing I will say. There was one really good commercial. Actually, two really good commercials during the Super Bowl last night.
Secret Service
Granted,
one I heard was good.
Yep.
Yeah, the Secret Service one that was badass. But the Jeep one with Harrison Ford,
That was great.
that one was good. That one was good.
My last name
That
is
was-
Ford, and he like whispers it, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good commercial. I'm
The
not gonna
Seal
lie.
one
What did he do?
was weird. I remember like I was chatting with somebody because I went to a watch party, and then I look up because I was like, oh, kissed by a rose on a grave, and then I was like, wait, what am I looking at? It was very strange.
What happened in this Harrison Ford thing?
Well,
It was a Jeep commercial,
It was a Jeep commercial.
Was
and
it
he goes
Han
off
Solo?
on
history?
he goes off on like America and freedom and pride and like like you're like I was like, oh, I'm tracking, and electric versus gas, and he was like, freedom to choose like what kind of vehicle you want. And Jeep has them all,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, kind of was the message. And then he like gets into the Jeep and he's like, and this is coming from a guy like, and I forget like the exact verbiage, but he's like, and my last name is Ford, and he like kind of
Drives
whispers
off.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that drives off. Yeah. It was good.
Wow.
It was a good commercial.
So he snubs Ford. Got it.
It's,
Yeah.
in a manner of speaking, yes, he does. Even
A
though he
little
says
bit,
that's
yeah.
my last name.
I
Yeah.
would have at least dropped a Star Wars line in there somewhere.
No. Too cliche.
He was talking about heroes, and how they were like, you know, the people that serve this country and not people who act like heroes. And then like in the background you see like him as you know, in various characters that he has or whatever. So
Yeah.
it was said without being said, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yep. Hello to Sexy Goth Girl and Riot Kitty, Riot Kitty. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we are going to start shit off with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, because apparently this dude blew the lid off, or blew the top off the lawsuit. So
Yeah.
we are going to kick this off right now and start getting into it. Justin Baldoni exposes Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds with bombshell website full of texts and emails. Ooh, can we all smell and taste the juiciness? That's what she
He brought
said.
the receipts. He brought the receipts.
And he brought
So
the
let's get
receipts.
into this. This is from That Park Place, from M. Montanaro. Shout out to you. This guy does some pretty good articles. I mean, I have not seen a single editing issue in these articles. Justin Baldoni has taken his ongoing legal feud with co-star Blake Lively to the next level by launching a website on Saturday that features an amended version of his $400 million defamation lawsuit. The site provides a full timeline of events, including screenshots, texts, emails, and communications intended to counter Lively's allegations of sexual harassment on the film's troubled set. The lawsuit also targets Lively's husband, actor Ryan Reynolds, and paints the couple as masterminds behind a campaign to sabotage Baldoni's career. Baldoni's legal team hopes that by making this evidence public, they can shift the narrative surrounding the controversy. Well, the thing is, folks, I am in Baldoni's corner here because, one, when it comes to sexual harassment claims and shit, you better fucking bring the proof. Otherwise, you are absolute scum of the earth. And if you've been following my channel for years, you know why. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, opens the amended complaint by framing the lawsuit as more than just a Hollywood spat. At bottom, this is the case about celebrities sniping at each other in the press. Friedman argued, this is a case about two of the most powerful stars in the world deploying their enormous power to steal an entire film right out of the hands of its director and production studio. Then, when Lively and Reynolds' efforts failed to win them the acclaim they believed they so richly deserved, they turned their fury on their chosen scapegoat. I figured I'd bring a little drama to the reading because, oh my god, I love the drama. Friedman added that Baldoni tolerated more than a year of what he described as Lively and Reynolds' unrelenting behavior, such as making an entire Deadpool and Wolverine character based on Baldoni, apparently, with the Nice Pool character, who identifies as feminist. While maintaining professionalism, yet it offered him no protection. A once friendly relationship turned toxic. Baldoni's lawsuit claims that he and Lively began their working relationship on good terms, according to court documents. The pair shared personal stories, jokes, memes, and with each other, and they even exchanged texts almost daily. That's a little too friendly, in my opinion. And Baldoni supported Lively during family health crises. A screenshot included the lawsuit shows a May 11th, 2023 text exchange where Lively expressed pride in their work on It Ends With Us. Oh! Trigger the awe moment, folks. Yeah. And such a good feeling to get the work I'm proud of and to do it together. It just clicks when we find it. And that's just as rewarding as filming it, or marketing it, or releasing it. This is all storytelling. This is why we do it. Baldoni responded with a compliment saying, "Thank you for your collaboration. I'm really proud of what we're doing. I like Sentimental Blake." Lively jokingly replied, "Never met her." The exchange also shifted to more playful banter. "I also like Asshole Blake, I'm guessing. Don't worry," to which Lively quipped, "I've met her. So have my suppositories." Jesus Christ. Aren't suppositories things you put in a person's ass?
I think
Yep.
she meant to say supporters.
Or
Yeah, read the whole
sure?
read the whole context again with the suppository, like the whole sentence again.
Supporters.
No, it's a
Okay,
suppositories.
laughed at so have my supporters. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe, sure, but it
No,
says
it's
suppositories.
supporters.
Yeah, I know,
It's
like they
called
obviously mistyped.
autocorrect.
Yeah,
Autocorrect is the bane of human existence.
I know. Never
Them.
have once have I said ducking on purpose.
Sure,
This is
okay,
true.
good. The lawsuit also referenced an interaction from June 2023 when Lively invited Baldoni into her house to rehearse, or into her trailer to rehearse lines. When Lively invited Baldoni into her trailer to rehearse lines while she was pumping breast milk. According to Baldoni's legal team, this occurred after the incident Lively has cited as harassment. "I'm just pumping in my Folks, this is for an adult audience, so if you're a kid, shoo. Okay, you should have shooed by now. "I'm just pumping in my trailer, and if you want to work out our lines," Lively texted June 2nd, 2023, according to the evidence provided by Baldoni. The lawsuit also addresses Lively's accusations regarding intimacy scenes. Baldoni claims that Lively refused to meet with the film's intimacy coordinator, leaving him to attend those meetings alone and later convey the coordinator's suggestions to her. These discussions allegedly took place in Lively and Reynolds' home, sometimes with Reynolds present. And yeah, these are the stuff here. Oof. A screenshot from a message of the female producer shows Baldoni informing her of Lively's decision not to meet with the intimacy coordinator, or IC, in advance. "Just wanted to tell you about this. She doesn't seem to want to meet the IC until we start, which may mess up the workflow," he wrote. The producers responded, "That's fine if she doesn't want to meet her now. You just have to walk her through what you and the IC are thinking." The turning point: negative press and drafted statements. Baldoni's legal team alleges as negative press began to build in August 2024, Lively and Reynolds attempted to place the blame on the film's troubled production on him. Baldoni claims the couple pressured him to release a statement drafted on behalf of his Wayfair Studios, warning that if he did not comply, the gloves will come off. So basically, folks, this whole shit started because the movie didn't do well in theaters.
What? I thought it did do well in theaters.
Not really. Not from what I heard.
Apparently, it didn't.
Well, it
Huh?
depends on when it was
So,
Okay, I heard
released.
different. I was like, I heard that it did like relatively well for like a rom-com about SA. You know what I mean? Not a rom-com, but a romance movie in that style. Um, but I may be wrong, so I stand corrected.
it didn't make profit, is what I mean, box office wise.
Gotcha. Okay.
Apparently,
I was like, it
it
was
bombed
widely
in the box
popular
office.
because everybody was talking about it, and I didn't know if that had anything to do with like all of the drama surrounding it. That people were like, "Oh shit, I gotta go see this movie to see how bad it is," or whatever. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
those like smutty women novels that they like to read, and but it has dramatic shit in
yeah.
it.
I heard next to nothing about this until we started covering this movie. Now, granted,
Mm-hmm.
general type of fare that I like to go see at the theater anyway. But I don't even know how much the movie made in the first darn place or what its budget even was. But if it came out parallel
According
to,
to
or
Google, 25 million. And then the movie was a box office success, grossing 350 million worldwide. So, yeah.
Okay, it made money, but apparently it didn't, or they had problems with it. So this movie was
okay,
such a success.
Right,
What the
that's why I was
fuck is
like, I
she
heard it
suing?
was successful. Yeah, 25 million to make it, and they made 350 million worldwide. Maybe they didn't make it in the United States. I don't know.
that's possible.
Then why the fuck are they suing? It's like, dude, your movie was successful. Why the fuck are you suing people?
Maybe
Well,
because he's
you
maybe
continue with
because
the
he's
article,
petty.
then I'll give my thoughts after.
Oh, the article's on, or it's just going over shit we've already covered over the last few weeks.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Kate, if you want to go first.
So, from what I have heard, um, Brett Cooper did like a really in-depth video on this on her YouTube where like they went through that website where Justin brought all the receipts. Apparently, she was like, "Yeah, you can come into my trailer while I'm pumping," and then she's suing him for SA because he just like would barge in. The second main issue is that her and her husband came in and just like bombarded and were like, Ryan rewrote scenes, which was apparently scabbing during their actor strike. And the messages back and forth between Baldoni and his fellow producers were like, oh, so they're not even going to give us like her cut of the movie because like she made her own cut because she wanted to make it a lighter film than um, the sensitive topics that are being brought up in the movie of spousal abuse. And
Hmm.
she wanted it to be like a lighthearted, whatnot, which is why we got her, saying bring your florals and your girlfriends and whatnot. But I think the biggest issue is her accusing Baldoni of SA when he has the text messages back and forth where she didn't want to meet with an intimacy coordinator. And then in her press tour, she was like, well, we didn't have an intimacy coordinator, but there was videos online of her basically saying like, hey, grab me like this, do it like this. And even the author of the book called her out in the middle of an interview saying like, no, Blake, like we saw the video of you doing that. And she tried to deny it. So what it sounds like just from the evidence of Baldoni's release and what she's saying is her and her husband tried to take over the movie. He owns the rights to the next couple books and his Wayfair production company, they own the rights to these books and he spent years making this movie and then she came in and wanted to make it her own, had her own cut of the movie and then he wasn't even allowed to go to the premiere. Like he was stuck in the basement um, enjoying it with his wife and the other producers while she's on the red carpet talking about her florals and her hair care line. So it's it seems like that Ryan and Blake are really shady mofos, which will probably lead us into our second topic about the Deadpool thing. But don't accuse somebody of sexual assault. Sorry, I didn't mean to flag your YouTube. I've been trying to censor myself. Uh, then when
You're
it's
all
not
right.
true. I mean, everybody's read To Kill a Mockingbird, and if you haven't, please read that. Don't believe all women. Maybe Blake was thinking, oh, this will be like 2016 with the Me Too movement. We've all moved past that, and unless you have proof, you cried wolf. You know what I mean? You tried to make this movie about you. You tried to take over. You released your own cut of the movie. When Baldoni is the one who's been trying to make this movie a thing for years. And I didn't think that I would side with Baldoni because reading through some of his text, I'm like, God, this guy is so fucking cringe. Like, like I don't know how like Hollywood talks to each other, but apparently if that's the way that they all talk to each other, no wonder they're a bunch of like weirdo nut jobs. But from what I've seen of Baldoni's text and Blake's text back and forth, Blake's a fucking liar, and she just wanted to make this movie hers instead of, um, letting Baldoni make the movie that he wanted to make.
Well said, Ambassador.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna be a little bit of a devil's advocate here. Yeah, we've got all these text messages and all these exchanges that have been released by Baldoni, his attorney. I have some issues with this. Now, the lawyer, Mr. Friedman, has the right to run this case as he sees fit, and he and his client have the right to do what they feel is appropriate to defend, produce a effective defense for Baldoni. But yeah, we've got screenshots, but do we have the totality of all the text messages, all the communiques between Blake and Baldoni? Do we have all the facts, or do we have a curated amount that paints Baldoni in a good light and paints Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds in a bad light? This is me playing devil's advocate. Because very rarely does a defendant bring the receipts to the outside of the court. You save that for when you go to trial. You save that for when you go to the courtroom, when you go before the judge and the jury, or if it's just in this case, or if it's just a judge, before you go to just before the judge. This is extremely unorthodox. And I will be honest, it screams a little bit of desperation. Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, I've not seen the movie. I don't really have any interest in that type of movie. It's not my thing. Some people liked it. Fair enough. You like it, you like it. Good enough. Obviously, it was successful. The question is, did we get the Baldoni cut or did we get the Lively cut? We don't know for sure.
We got the Baldoni cut.
Okay, then we got the Baldoni cut. Then what's he griping about? Okay, yeah, he was accused of SA by Lively.
Harassment, not SH.
Okay, harassment. Okay, harassment. He was accused of harassment.
Yeah.
But if she says, "Go if you want to come in while I'm pumping breast milk, go ahead." She could have done the modest thing and covered herself up.
Or just been French and flipped it out, and it's not. Heads up, everybody. Boobs are not a sexual organ, okay? They're not a sex organ. They're made to feed your babies.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know.
But
sorry, I grew up in France, so.
Yeah, but they also do. Well, but they also do serve a purpose in the sexual process as well. We all know this. Obviously.
Only in men, but sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna advocate for breastfeeding mothers here. You should be able to whip out.
I agree with you.
And here's the thing.
We agree.
Here's the thing. I agree on both sides. I agree with you, Kate, but I also agree on the other aspect.
Yeah, if she felt uncomfortable, there are things like little towels or
she
blankets.
Could have said, no, she could have said, no, don't come in, which obviously she did. But now he's showing.
And he also provided, he was like, hey, I'm going to meet with the intimacy coordinator. And her text reply was, I'm not meeting with them until, when I feel like it or after the movie or whatever. And apparently she never did. And then she was complaining in her presser that she had to act as intimacy coordinator. Well, you didn't meet with her, Blake. That's on you.
Yeah, and that's on her. I'm not going to say that part isn't pretty clear cut. They brought an intimacy coordinator in for the movie. She didn't go to meet with the intimacy coordinator when he did as well. She obviously didn't go on her own as far as we know. That's on her. But that doesn't meet up to muster for a full-blown lawsuit.
Right.
Quite frankly, on either end.
Right.
So, like I said,
You're playing devil's advocate? No, I know. Perfectly fair. So, yeah. It seems like there was also he was being really and he might have, edited, not to say edited the text or whatever, but only shown the ones that look favorable in his light, because obviously if you're going to court,
that's what's got the little hairs on the back of my neck standing up on end. Yeah, he's released all this evidence that looks favorable on him. where's the rest of all the correspondence between him and Lively, or him and Lively and Reynolds, or whatever the case may be?
Right.
What else? What else
here's the
is
thing.
there? Okay, I've kind of made my point.
Let
So
me,
go ahead, Orange.
l-
I've made
Well,
my point. So go
or
ahead.
answer that. I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
If she had anything to counter, it would be all over the fucking news because the news loves to believe all women.
This is true.
If she had any evidence to the contrary of all of this, because here's the thing, folks, the texts show both sides of the context. Now, yes, he may be cherry picking, but if she had any countenance or countering, she would have brought it out. It would have been public information as well.
Unless
Right.
she's waiting for them to go to trial, which she could be.
Well,
Or,
also
yes,
the
that is
pendulum
entirely
has swung
possible as
back
well.
and forth. The pendulum has swung
Yeah.
back and forth because when the press of the movie came out, everybody's like, "Why is Blake acting weird? Why is she saying like, why is she being mean to interviewers? Why is she talking about her hair care line?" And anytime you saw Baldoni talking about the movie, he was like, I really wanted to get in the mind of why somebody would abuse their spouse and like really, and he was working with the author and stuff. And it's like he was kind of just from the outsider's perspective. I'm not saying,
Yeah.
just from the outsider's perspective on the pre-presser before the movie came out, he was talking about the seriousness of SA and what causes men to do that and how it affects everybody around them. And she was talking about fucking florals and bringing your girlfriends and talking about her hair care line. So everybody was like, wait a minute, why is Blake being a fucking ass? And then she comes out with her lawsuit and everybody's like, oh shit, he was a fucking asshole this whole time. And then he releases receipts and the pendulum swung back in the direction of Baldoni, of people going, oh, wait a minute, was she trying to take over his whole movie? If she did have receipts, the pendulum would swing right back in her direction if she goes, no, here's what was said. And it's extra
She has
shitty.
no counter. She had to bring
Right.
her husband. She had to bring in her husband for star power and for ballast, essentially.
Right. Well, and it's an extra asshole move for you to make fun of the guy in his Deadpool movie and have Lady Pool kill.
That's
Right.
if
Yeah.
that happened.
Right. This is allegedly, because there's a Disney suit now where Baldoni wants the discovery of correspondence on Disney's end, which will be hilarious when we get that. But it's just funny how the pendulum has swung back and forth of, well, maybe he's in the right. Well, maybe she's in the right. Well, maybe he's in the right, and she hasn't countered any of his claims. And from what it looks like right now, based on the evidence that we have, it seems that Ryan and Blake wanted to take over this guy's movie, shafted him, he couldn't even go to his own premiere, and then made fun of him, allegedly, in her husband's movie. Real dick moves,
Which will actually take us to our next topic. Let me just get the banner switched over. Which is, where is it? Rob Liefeld is leaving Marvel after disrespect during the premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine. So apparently, folks, Rob Liefeld is sick and tired of Disney's shit, especially Kevin Feige.
Can't say about it.
So we got this article again from That Park Place. All the articles tonight are from That Park Place. We're not sponsored by them. I just like using their articles because, well, they got interesting topics, folks. So this one's from WDW Pro. Shout out to you. The Walt Disney Company was... That's the wrong one. This one is from Mike or M. Montanaro. Sorry. Deadpool Creator blasts Kevin Feige. Disney declares he's done with Marvel after being disrespected at Deadpool and Wolverine premiere. Rob Liefeld, the comic book artist behind Deadpool and Cable, has officially cut ties with Marvel after more than 30 years. The Deadpool creator blasted Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige and accused the company of treating comic book creators poorly. Liefeld made his grievances public in a fiery 90-minute episode of his Robservations podcast and a follow-up interview with the Hollywood Reporter detailing what he perceives as repeated slights, including his snub at the DP&W Premiere. Marvel's cold shoulder at the premiere. Liefeld attended the July premiere of DP&W, only to find out that he and his family were not invited to the after party, a major departure from his past experiences with the franchise. Adding insult to injury, he says Marvel executives, including Kevin Feige, ignored him entirely despite being near him on the red carpet. Not so much as a single handshake. Classless. It was meant to embarrass, diminish, and defeat me. Liefeld fumed on his podcast. His frustrations grew when he learned that professional photos taken of him with members of the DP&W team were later deleted, while some images of Liefeld and his family surfaced in Disney's Getty press portal. He believes the group photos were only taken as a courtesy and never meant to be used. The Stumps confirmed to him that his time with Marvel had come to an end. At some point you go, I've received the message, and the message is clear. Liefeld's frustration with Marvel runs deep. The Deadpool creator's grievances didn't start at the premiere. Liefeld had already been angered at Marvel's 2023 decision to credit editor Roy Thomas as co-creator of Wolverine, something that upset Christine Vallada, widow of original Wolverine co-creator Len Wein. Liefeld decided to push back in June 2024, sending email to Marvel and asking if he could receive special credit in DP&W and inquiring about his access to events and promotions. However, he says he was met with hostility, not negotiation. Marvel's treatment of creators has never been their strength, Liefeld wrote in this email. Without the words, worlds, the characters, and the concepts that we create, and in this specific case, the world of Deadpool, there are no films to shoot, no blockbusters to distribute. I am not the easy button at Staples. I actually have one of those buttons. I am the human imagination behind it all. He even requested that his concerns be elevated to Kevin Feige or Disney CEO Bob Iger, stressing that comic book creators should not be treated as afterthoughts. Liefeld claims that he never received a response from Marvel, but was told by his agents that the email was not received well inside the company. A day later, he tweeted, "My reps were screamed at today. We are not Fox. Tell me about it." Also hung up on. Liefeld believes the behind-the-scenes tension is the real reason he was shut out of the DP&W after party. Did Marvel really disrespect Liefeld? Marvel Studios did give Liefeld an on-screen nod in DP&W, featuring a store called Liefeld's Just Feet in a major battle scene. The inside jokes that artist infamous struggles with drawing feet. He was also invited to the film set in London. However, Liefeld suggests that even during that visit, he felt unwelcome. They had me along for the ride, and I call it zero drama. I was happy to be there, he told THR, comparing his treatment at Marvel unfavorably to his experiences at 20th Century Fox, which produced DP and DP2. Liefeld, who has long had a reputation for being outspoken, has also faced criticism for downplaying the contributions of other Deadpool creatives, such as Fabian Nicieza. I have no idea how to pronounce that, so I am sorry to Fabian, that name.
You say it correctly, Nicieza. Yeah, you say it right.
Nicieza, who scripted Deadpool's first appearance. One industry insider noted, while we respect what he contributed, he does not respect what others have contributed. Despite the criticisms, Liefeld insisted personality lobbied for Nicieza to receive co-creator credit on the first 2 Deadpool movies, and was praised both Ryan Reynolds and Joe Kelly for their contributions to the character's evolution. Liefeld blasts Feige for ignoring comic creators. Perhaps the most headline-grabbing statement from the Deadpool creator was his harsh critique of Kevin Feige treats comic book creators. Kevin Feige does not treat comic book creators well. That is my personal experience, Liefeld declared on his podcast. He went to contrast Feige and DC Studios, James Gunn, who frequently praises comic book writers and even invites them to movie sets. You guys really just put a bad taste in my mouth with the whole James Gunn shit. Y'all know why I hate James Gunn, so I'm not even going to go down that path right now. Liefeld acknowledged that Feige sometimes name drops creators at events like San Diego Comic-Con, but he believes that's not enough. He wanted Feige to personally acknowledge him in Deadpool and Wolverine Premiere that believes Marvel needs to do more to honor its creators. Liefeld is closing the chapter of his Marvel career with DP Team Up number 5 set to release next week. You can always share your hits. Sometimes you have to share your misses. This one was a miss, Liefeld admitted. He also acknowledged the emotional toll of the situation, saying it's important to me to do, or for me to do the podcast so people could hear my voice. You didn't hear anyone who was angry. At times, it was hard to hide how sad I was. Despite the drama, Liefeld remains one of the most influential creators in modern comics, but if his words are any indication, Marvel Studios has officially lost one of its most vocal and opinionated founding fathers. Are you surprised that Kevin Feige reportedly disrespected Deadpool creator? Sound off in the comments. So, here's the thing. That whole bit of, we're not Fox. You're damn right you're not Fox. Fox created some good shit.
Yes.
And they had like 1 or 2 misses.
Yes.
Their execution might not have been good, but they didn't miss this hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, by the way, if it wasn't for Fox, you wouldn't have a fucking MCU.
Right.
Let's be more. Let's pin this down. If it weren't for Fox, there would be no X-Men. There wouldn't have been any Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Sony, there would be no Spider-Man. If it wasn't for New Line Cinemas, there would have been no Blade, and so on. So it wasn't just
but Fox
it wasn't just
created,
Fox, but
Fox
Fox
had
did
a
the
Marvel
lion's
Cinematic
share.
Universe in themselves.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, Fox had the lion's share of properties. So, if I might chime in first, unless you want to go first, Kate.
Go ahead.
No, go by all means. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's the skinny. At least from my point of view, I think Mr. Liefeld is completely justified in his criticism of Marvel Studios. I think he's completely justified in his criticism of Kevin Feige. Have we, as fans of Marvel and the MCU, given in the past Kevin Feige a little bit more latitude than maybe we should have? Yes, I will be the first to attest to that fact that maybe we did. Now, is the burden on Kevin Feige's shoulders rather large? Yes, but does that give him carte blanche to be a complete and total disrespectful jackwagon to the men and women who built the Marvel Universe on the printed page? No, it does not. If it wasn't for Mr. Rob Liefeld and others creating the character of Deadpool, who has become a pop culture icon along with many other characters in the Marvel Universe, we wouldn't have gotten Deadpool. We wouldn't have gotten Deadpool 2. We most certainly would not have gotten Deadpool and Wolverine. But the same is also true. If it had not been for the creators of Wolverine, we would not have gotten the X-Men films. We would have not gotten Wolverine. We would not have gotten Logan. And we wouldn't have gotten this movie either. I think, and I am happy to see, at least on the DC side of things, and no, I'm not going to reference the one individual you dislike, But I'm happy to say that after many, many years, I think his first name was Bill Finger, got his due credit as one of the co-creators of Batman on the Robert Pattinson Batman film. Now, should that have been done back in 1989 with the first Batman film? Sure. But as the old saying goes, better late than never. The comic book movie is a evolution of the comic book itself. If it weren't for the printed page, for the printed product, we wouldn't have the film. We wouldn't have the animated series. So, do I think Kevin Feige and those that work at Marvel Studios should give the creators their due credit? Should give them their due time in the sun and not just pay them lip service? Yes, I certainly most certainly do. And that's going to lead me off on just a smidgen of a tangent, so please bear with me. We lost Stan Lee during the late waning years of the Infinity Saga. He never got to see the finished product, which was a shame. And it's also a shame that he is not still around, because I think he was also a much needed reminder, and I think a bit of a ramrod in terms of how the creatives behind these comics were treated. Seeing what's being done with these properties now, the limits, the seemingly unlimited creative license that's being taken with these characters and some iterations teams, I don't particularly care for. Now, I don't need a one-to-one adaptation from the comic to the screen, but they're going too far. And I will say this, and then I'll yield the floor. I would imagine the creators of the Thunderbolts team and their various incarnations probably are not terribly thrilled with how their characters are being treated, because for those of you that follow my channel, I released and this is I will say, a bit of a shameless plug. I released a short today noting this, because the trailer that they released yesterday for the Thunderbolts seems like a knockoff of the Suicide Squad with an MCU skin on top of it. I would imagine the creators of the Suicide Squad probably wouldn't be too happy, and I imagine the creators of the Thunderbolts are equally as unhappy as well. Ghost, U.S. Agent, Winter Soldier, and so on. Yelena Belova, the new Black Widow, whatever codename she goes by, Red Guardian. These are characters that were not meant to be comedic. They are serious, they are grounded, they are heavies. They are anti-heroes, which is what they should be portrayed as. Now, I will say this, and then I'll be done. Their portrayals in their various Disney Plus MCU properties was heavy. I think it had a good tone to it. The shows that they appeared in were to varying degrees successful and I think unsuccessful. But I think what we have seen with Thunderbolts does not do these characters credit, nor the people who created them. With that, I yield the floor.
I think you said it well. If it weren't for the comic book creators, we wouldn't have these live action characters. You wouldn't have these movies if it weren't for, the artists and writers who created these characters. And you shouldn't just pay them lip service. And it goes back to basically the theme of, I'll tie it back in, but Oppenheimer was about this. We're going to use you for your talent. We're going to, treat you like shit. And then we're going to give you an award at the end of your life after we treated you like shit to make ourselves feel better. Look, we gave this guy an award. There was a lot of speculation and rumors behind the scenes that Stan Lee was also getting poor treatment from Marvel, and just wanted to say, look, we put him in our movies, but And I just remember reading a few articles years ago, so I don't want to like misquote anything or say, be wrong, but it's not the first time Marvel has used a creator and then dumped them. And especially coming from Fox, I feel like it's become kind of a thing to like shit on Fox. I mean, Futurama did the same thing when they went over to Comedy Central. They're like, yeah, these Fox producers are not letting us write our own freaking show, and they want to take over. Um, so, these big studios, no matter who you are, I think they see creators as, they see them in dollar signs, and then put them by the wayside, which is sad because, without writers, we wouldn't have these characters that we love so much, and we wouldn't have discussions on, oh, what do you think is going to go in the movie? Are we going to get, I remember the discussion after the first Deadpool movie and how well it did, and it's like, oh man, I want Cable in the next movie, or when it was announced that they were doing Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, oh, how are they going to bring him back in? Because we saw him die in Logan, and that was a beautiful send off. Like, how are we going to see this? Because that would be a great team up. And I remember watching the Spider-Man Deadpool team ups. It was a very PG Deadpool, but it was still fun as a kid watching those animated series, and was wondering, okay, now that Deadpool's in the quote unquote Marvel Cinematic Universe, like, are we going to see them team up? That'll be fun. And so, but we wouldn't have any of that fan discussion if the comic books didn't exist for that. If the writers hadn't done that before. Sorry, you probably hear my dog like gnawing on his bone in the background. Let me move.
Nope.
It's
Just
okay.
you, kiddo.
Oh, okay. Well, then these headphones are really good. Sweet. Getting rid of background noise. But it's sad, and I mean, tying it back to our last topic, like, you wouldn't even, like, okay, you brought him to the premiere, you took some photos that weren't released, and then you didn't let him come to the after party, just like you wouldn't let Baldoni come to his own premiere of his own movie that he directed and that he's been working on and producing. What? And what do these two movies have in common? Ryan Reynolds. I think the facade of Ryan being like this upstanding guy is kind of coming to an end, which is pretty sad because I kind of liked him. I liked his movies. I thought they were fun, but this seems to be more of a Marvel thing than a strictly Ryan Reynolds thing. But if Kevin Feige wants to, say F you to Deadpool or just creators in general, then creators should stop giving them the rights to their books. Stop, letting these guys railroad you. And I'd rather not see any comic book movie made than to see the creators disrespected. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with
Here,
just
here.
reading the comic books. But don't disrespect the creators that we love. Don't disrespect the source material. And canon matters. And who wrote the canon? Oh, the creator? Cool. Like, it all just comes full circle to just don't be an asshole.
Okay, so
Well said, Vanya. Well said.
yeah, indeed. Thing is, folks, if it does kind of seem like some masks are coming off. Everybody likes Deadpool Wolverine 2 or 3 or Deadpool 3, which is Deadpool and Wolverine. You know what fuck I mean.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, we do.
Thing is, I said before the movie came out, and I still mean it today, it was the biggest fucking scam. Now, yes, you're getting a movie. Yes, you're getting a very funny fucking movie. And yes, I have even defended the movie's quality.
It's a damn good movie.
However, yeah, it's a good movie, yeah. However, it's a Disney movie. Made $1 billion. And it gave them a sense of vindication to continue to possibly keep pushing agenda-filled movies. Now, I'm not saying that Deadpool Wolverine is agenda-filled, unless it does turn out to be true that fucking Ryan Reynolds decided to create Nice Pool as a shaft to Baldoni.
Or maybe just as
But
a parody of the character of Deadpool himself, and it's a nice version of Deadpool. Just as
or
a
it could be
parody for
that
the character.
indeed. Yeah, or
That's
it
the
could
way I look
indeed be
at it
that.
until I hear otherwise. But that's me.
Exactly. Same thing. Until it is confirmed whether or not it is, I will not say that Deadpool and Wolverine is agenda or is agenda driven, except to the only agenda being to entertain. But comic creators are often not acknowledged. They need to be acknowledged a lot more.
Yeah,
that is why indie creators are kicking off their own shit, like C.S. Johnson, Eric July. As much as I don't give a shit about that guy, because some of the shit he's said has been quite divisive.
Yeah, he's kind of a prick. Okay,
he's also giving like talented artists and writers. I don't know. I don't follow him as far as like his YouTube channel. I have bought his comic books. Or three
I'm
of
not going to deny he's good or he's not a good comic book creator. He is.
Well, he's also getting other artists. Right, his contributions to the indie comic book sphere, great. I like the Saska sisters. I like the artists that he's bringing on. Yeah, bring in, and he's brought in a lot of people who have left Marvel and DC and Dark Horse and some of those other bigger ones.
He's given them a home or a roof.
Right, a home to right. Which I can respect that. I don't know anything else about what he said. Your comments about him being divisive, no comment on that. I have no idea.
I'll discuss
but
that.
Yeah,
we'll discuss that off stream.
Okay, sure. But as far as you're completely right. This is why indie stuff is popping off. This is why people want to make their own fan-made indie films. People like those, people like independent comic book creators now. You go to Comic-Con and there's plenty of independent creators. I have a whole stack of comic books by super teeny tiny dudes who just have, a couple thousand people on there.
I can name one and everything that I haven't talked to him in quite a long time, but he's a really good artist and he's doing his own. He's got a couple of comics that he's done. Guy's name is Dawson Weidrich. I follow him on. He has a YouTube channel. I still am subscribed, but they do a lot of entertainment news, kind of like what we do. They do a lot of reviews and so on. He's on Instagram. He's on X. He's super talented. Back when I first became aware of him, I streamed with him and everything. We did some reviews, had some really good discussions and so on. Really smart guy, really down to earth. By no means a tosspot or an a-hole to any degree. So, anyhow.
And I really enjoy seeing that, like people with that creative gene are, they might have, they might have been critics, but then they're like, you know what? I'm tired of seeing BS, so I'm going to make my own thing. Cool. Yes. I love that. I love seeing that.
I took Marvel stuff and I did my own story with it. I won't make any money off of it because of the shit I used as Marvels, but yeah.
Same here.
Right, but like people are starting to be creative because they're like, well, I don't see, and this isn't like, oh, I don't see characters that represent me, like the whole,
No, it's not that.
Fuck your perceptions. That's what I say.
What's that?
Fuck their perceptions. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see people, instead of just like complaining about the bad stuff, they're like, you know what, I'll just make my own and it'll be good. And it might not be as, great a production value as, what Marvel DC puts out, but I'd rather have, a lower production quality and great story than high production value and the crap that has been churned out. I mean, just on this channel, on your channel, Orange, we've talked about, it looks good, but there's no heart because
story's-
there's no story to it.
The story's
And
crap.
at the end of the day, stories are about people, and if you don't make me like the character, sympathize with the character, have emotional, connection with any of these characters or the story, I don't care how good it looks. I don't. The Acolyte looked good, but God, was it freaking a pain to get through because you're like, this story doesn't make any sense. This is so cheesy. Oh my God, I guessed the ending before it happened. It's a drag to get through. So more power to independent creators, and I feel bad for the ones getting shafted by these big studios who just see a big bag of money for taking their stuff, not staying true to the source material, and then saying, "Hey, F you," it's rude, and it's
It really
you
is.
know.
Well, and talking about big bags of money,
We
USAID.
can segue. Yeah, let's segue to our next one.
Nice segue.
So folks, a small political topic. It's a small amount of politics because USAID, or as I like to call them, you said. But it seems that under the Biden administration, the previous administration, the sede vacantist administration, the administration of the empty chair, of the empty Oval Office, it seems that they funded Disney.
And some other things.
Yeah, among
Yeah,
other
and
things.
some other things. Whew,
Yeah,
that'd be a whole
$50
stream on
million
its own.
$50 million for condoms in Gaza.
Chelsea Clinton's wedding.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yes. Chelsea Clinton.
She got like 80 some odd million.
USAID paid for Chelsea Clinton's wedding.
The same wedding that Ghislaine Maxwell attended. So do with that information as you will.
Anyway, but getting into it,
Holy crap! I knew
Walt
about
Disney
that one part,
Company,
but I didn't know about the whole part. Go ahead.
Yeah, Walt Disney was provided USAID funds by the Biden administration to create Nat Geo content. Now, folks, this is of a smaller thing. This is from WDW Pro at that Park Place. Shout out to you. A new investigation by the Park Place has revealed that the Walt Disney Company benefited from a relationship with the Biden administration via funds provided by the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, or USAID, or USAID. You said. But anyway, if you get that, you get that, or you get it. Up to $6 million was tallied for a joint venture between the Walt Disney Company, Africa, and National Geographic to develop a show that appears to have had scant viewership, titled Team Sayari. It was created under a partnership involving USAID, the U.S. Department of State, the Walt Disney Company, National Geographic, and Wildlife Direct. The initiative sought to inspire young environmental stewards through an educational children's television series and community outreach programs across Africa. So basically, the Biden administration paid Disney to make children's shit over in Africa, or a children's show over in Africa. According to publicly available data, the money for the show was approved for the Walt Disney Company in 2021, shortly after Biden took office. The show debuted in 2022. At this time, we can find no source to how much of the $6 million was paid by U.S. taxpayers versus Disney. Well, I can tell you this, all of it was paid by U.S. taxpayers. U.S. taxes go into everything the U.S. federal government does. That is just a fact, folks. We pay their salaries. We pay for fucking foreign aid. We pay for the military to have all their fancy toys and gadgets. We pay for it all through our taxes. If it wasn't for taxes, well, we wouldn't be a nation. I say get rid of a few of those taxes, though, because, you're getting taxed upon tax upon tax, which is kind of ridiculous after a while. Versus Disney, however, a look at the show's production values make it difficult to believe those funds were well stewarded. The National Geographic website describes the show as such: Team Sayari, Kiswahili Sayari equals planet, so Team Planet, Captain Planet, is a show about a group of young budding conservationists who, along with Funzi, an AI computer, represented as a large glowing DNA double helix. Oh my god, they stole that shit from Jurassic Park! Are Africa's protectors working on a fun and high-tech base known as Sayari Base Camp. So Planet Base Camp. However, searching for information on the show is a difficult task. Even IMDb seems unsure whether the show has been canceled or is still receiving more episodes. There may even be a second season based on our promo we found, but there's no announcement about whether or not USAID continued to fund any productions that we can find. Of course, USAID website is only landing page at the time of publication because of the major changes happening under the Trump administration. Scrutiny into USAID is funding a legacy of media companies has increased dramatically as Elon Musk has put particular emphasis on DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, to the task of cleaning wasteful and fraudulent spending. And these are some of the stuff that they looked up. We here at the Park Place are just beginning our investigation into the many Disney Company subsidiaries and whether or not they were beneficiaries of taxpayer money over the last 4 years. At this time, we cannot confirm more than the Team Sayari project with specificity. However, as scandals grow over millions of dollars spent for things like Politico premium memberships by the government, one might say or conclude that the U.S. government for years or decades has been using exorbitant spending to assist and curry favor with legacy media companies for purposes that may not have been fully understood by average citizens until now. And let's see here. We'll stay on it as we go through a huge number of companies like ABC, Marvel, National Geographic, and more to uncover what might have been going on behind the scenes. So yeah, folks, I mean, even since the time of this article's publication, which was 5 days ago, there has been so much. I mean, we've funded so much woke bullshit over in fucking Africa, and apparently it has also come out, this is not a joke, by the way, folks, it has come out that under USAID, the Biden administration fucking funded the butchering and genital mutilation of primates and simians.
And not just primates and simians, but all sorts of little animals.
Yep. The Biden administration slaughtered hundreds of thousands of chickens, which, by the way, is the real reason why egg prices are so high. When you destroy the supply, you are increasing demand. So, all those people out there who are constantly saying, well, egg prices are so fucking high, blame the Biden administration. They were the ones who slaughtered chickens by the hundreds of thousands.
Yep.
And they also fucking mutilated monkeys and apes and made them transgender.
All sorts of little critters. I heard they were doing it to rats and mice.
Yeah, that's what USAID has been funding. That's what this USAID or USAID has been funding. So I'm going to turn it over to the panelists, Ambassador and Kate. Kate, you got any thoughts on this?
Thank God for Doge.
Specifically the Nat Geo shit. Yeah.
Thank God for Doge. And thank God for Donald Trump, because, you know, I don't think we would have found this if he had been reelected in 2020. Anyway, nobody elected
Yeah.
Biden in 2020. But
I think it's
yeah, the more I see about the USAID stuff and what they're giving money out to, I'm like, cut it. Why are we paying for this? Why am I paying for this? Why am I even paying taxes at this point? Why are you taking 20 to 30% of my income to pay for this shit? Really? It really pisses me off. The libertarian in me is like livid. So thank God for Doge, and finding all of this and auditing. The first 3 words of the Constitution are "We the people." Why are you paying for all this dumb shit that we didn't vote for, that we didn't agree to? You're taking all of our money and wasting it. And in the meantime, libtards are just getting on like, oh my God, I can't believe we're gonna cut this. Like, really? Do you see where your money's going? You want to pay for that? USAID might have, a handful of things that we would agree that are good things that we want our money going toward, but the more and more that comes out, especially like this article, like cut the whole thing. You can envelop the quote unquote good things that we want into another department.
I would
but
gut the whole thing. I'd gut the whole
yeah,
fucking thing.
Well, if
I'm not.
if I interject
I
just
don't like.
briefly,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
From what I have heard and what I have been able to glean over the last few days, they've shuttered the building. They shut the USA the USA building down. It's not even there's nobody there right now. They
chiseled off the fucking letters too.
Yeah. So I would say USAID is pretty much shuttered at this point. The question is, how quickly do we shut down all the money that's going out? So, okay.
All the money's being paused. All of the money, everything's put on pause right now until they can figure out where the money's going, and then, and then, as I said, if there are, things that they're investing in, let's just say for the sake of argument, it's vets or something. They're giving money to some veteran program. Okay, restart that under a different department, but gut the whole thing. I'm so sick. Like, it feels like every single day we find something else that USAID or USAID or USAID or whatever it's called. I had never heard of this department, so not never heard, but I haven't heard this department as much as I have in the last week. And it's only because it's like, oh, we're spending money on this. I'm like, what? Why are we spending this much, like $50 million on condoms in Gaza? Really? You think they're gonna use them while they fuck the goats? Really?
Transgender surgery in Guatemala.
Right.
There's apparently a lot of trannies in Guatemala.
Like, what my federal money, what money I should go, like my money should go to federally is like national parks, like
veterans.
Fund. Veterans. Yeah. Certain things are states, so I'll leave out like welfare and stuff because that's usually on a state level, and unemployment that's on a state level. But the federal government doesn't make its own money. It takes all of its money from the citizens, and the citizens have been left in the dark when it comes to what our money's being spent on. And we get Doge in here saying, hey, why are we spending money on this? And leftists want to freak out. Shut up. Let them clean up. Don't you want the government to be more efficient? That's my question to everybody. Don't you want your government to be more efficient? That should not be a political issue. It should just be common fucking sense. And the fact that we're $36 trillion in debt and we're running on a deficit every single year is just appalling, and it's incredulous. If I make, let's say, $5,000 a month and I spend $8,000 a month, how long do you think I can keep that up before I'm homeless living under a bridge? For some fucking reason, the U.S. government wants to fund all this and this is just in USAID. This isn't in all of the other areas that we may not know where our money's being spent. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but the libertarian in me is very mad, and thank God for Doge. Cut it all. Cut all the bullshit. You know what? Let's run under budget for once.
There you go. That's a thought.
Yeah. Okay. My take on this whole thing. You think we're pissed now because of what we've learned about USAID? Wait till we get to the freaking IRS. Wait till we get to the Pentagon. Wait till we get to the CIA and the other intelligence agencies. Wait till we get to the FBI. You think USAID is bad? This is just the tip of the freaking iceberg, and the iceberg is like 3 miles deep, 3 miles deep below the water surface, the surface of the water. This isn't going to be the iceberg that sank the Titanic. This is going to be the iceberg that sank the Titanic, the Lusitania, the Bismarck, the fleet at Pearl Harbor, the whole dang accumulated fleets of
The whole ice
every-
sheet on top of Greenland, like
Yeah.
yeah.
This isn't nothing yet. But
Plus the Harding
to
ice field in
the-
Alaska, like it goes deep, yeah.
But to the specific topic of Walt Disney Company receiving taxpayer dollars, our money. You get our money at your parks. You get our money at your stores. You get your money at the theaters. You get your money with with the few Disney Plus subscribers that you still have, considering you lost over 700,000 just last year.
No, it's just quarter one.
Yeah, that's just quarter one.
It's just quarter
You
one.
get enough of our money as it is, and you're taking money from the federal government.
That answers my sorry to interject. That answers my question about how does Disney keep going when they keep losing money every single movie? Well, this is how.
They're subsidized by the fucking federal government. And here's the thing, folks. After
Yep.
this, if I was the federal government, due to Biden and them wanting to supply this shit over to Africa, I'm sorry. I would appeal to the World Bank that is continuing to let Disney operate under debt, and I'd say I think it's time to foreclose on Disney.
Yeah.
And yes, I am very much aware that that would mean canceling everything under Hulu, canceling everything under Disney Plus, or closing the parks. A lot of jobs lost.
Yeah. And that
yes,
sucks for the people.
It would happen under Trump. It would happen under the Trump administration. But here's the thing. If I was the Trump administration, I would say these job losses happened under failed business practices by Disney, and the bank decided to act.
Finally.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
And here's the real kicker. If that does indeed ever happen, Bob Iger is going to have so much egg on his face, he will go down as the CEO that tanked Disney. Tanked it.
Mm-hmm.
A company that has been in existence for 100 years-ish. Bob Iger will go down as the CEO that tanked Disney. And you think the Disney family's not going to be pissed? Oh, they're going to be pissed.
Disney family's just as bad. Well, the current ones. Abigail Disney is such a fucking idiot.
Anyway, I would still say they would have a justification to be pissed. Either way.
Oh yeah, they do. They're like, although they have no controlling interest in the company anymore.
Yeah, then that's unfortunate.
They have no creative stake in the company.
Yeah, unfortunately. If they did, maybe none of this crap would be going on, but that's another topic for another time. But yeah, I am not happy with the idea that my tax dollars went to subsidize a kid's cartoon in Africa. I don't care how good the intentions may be. If you can't...
Go ahead, sorry.
If you can't come up with a convincing concept for a cartoon for Nat Geo and not fund it on your own steam, then don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead, Kate.
No, I was just gonna say, how many countries tax their citizens and give it to us? Probably
Goddamn one.
nil. Yeah, but for some reason we're freaking paying millions, billions, hundreds of millions, however much it is. I don't even know how much they've cut so far because I feel like every single day they find something else. But how much are we wasting? Is it money laundering? Is it actually going to, Nat Geo
Don't-
or condoms in Gaza or, you know what I mean? Like,
That's
if
and
I were,
here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. We don't know yet. That's the big word.
Oh, we're
Yet.
finding out more and more. I mean,
Yeah,
folks,
I know.
we're finding out more and more. And that's the thing.
every day there's
We will
something else.
continue to
Yeah.
find out more. Yeah. We will continue to find out as time goes on. And they have until June 21st. That's the expiration date of Doge. Doge came on with a set time limit, with a self-created expiration date.
I just hope we
And
can get it all done in time.
I am too, but here's the thing. I also do see it being extended.
If
I
need
see
be,
it.
yes.
I see it being extended. However, whether it needs to be or not, it will still fall as a negative on the Trump administration due to the fact that they said they would only last for 6 months. It's like, well, due to all the shit that they're finding, even up to now in June, I think it's good that they continue to work.
I think the
Those
biggest
are my
thing.
thoughts on this.
I'll say one thing, and if you want to segue, we can.
Mhm.
If the people say after June, Doge, President Trump, keep Doge going, keep them digging, then I say let them dig. If the, here's the thing, why only 6 months? Let's give them a year. Let's give them let's give them a year to dig. And then take it from there. If they need to
I
create
would be
another
okay with
department,
it being. I would be okay with it being a permanent department. Get rid of the Department of Education and make the Department of Government Efficiency.
that's not necessarily a bad idea either. But here's the only thing I would suggest. Full transparency, and I would also suggest having a new chairman. Have it be somebody that either Trump or Musk appoints. But don't let it always be Musk. Because he's
And
got other
keep it
things.
a small group. Yeah, keep it a small
Yes.
group of like
Yes.
20 people
That-
max, and have it all be like mathematicians and accountants, and then
Here's
rotate
the
them
thing.
out.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Musk is not being paid for this.
Oh, I know.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying in
He is
terms,
doing this
of
on his own dollar, and
Yeah.
that's why I think it is effective, because
Mhm.
just so you guys all know, this is information that has come out over the last couple days. The Democratic Party is threatening
Mhm.
to shut down the government in March
Mhm.
when the
Really?
when the budget when budget continuation comes due. They are threatening to not vote for continuing resolution, which will cause a shutdown.
Well, isn't that
Honestly,
just
if
convenient?
the Republicans are smart right now,
Mhm.
they will draft a bill that says if you vote present, your vote is an automatic no. You are no longer allowed to vote present in at these hearings. That was never a thing 100 years ago, folks.
Nope.
The vote of present was not a thing 100 years ago. They only started doing that as a form of protest. And I'm sorry, but if you are an elected official, you fucking vote yes or no. You don't
Right,
get to
job.
fuck around with our fucking money. You don't get to fuck around with our fucking livelihood, our fucking nation's security by saying, oh, well, I'm present, but I'm not going to vote. No, fuck you. You don't get to hold us hostage. You don't get to hold fucking federal workers hostage. Just because you don't like the fact that your party is getting exposed.
Or Or here's a second to your point. If anybody votes present, they forego their paycheck for that session. You want to come in and just say present, you don't get paid by the American people. You don't want to do your job,
Exactly.
don't get
Yeah.
paid. If I don't show up to
Exactly.
work, or if I show up to work and don't do my job, guess what? They're gonna send me home, and I'm not gonna get paid for that day. So
Yeah.
once we start affecting their bank account, maybe they'll give a crap because
Oh, we
they're
are-
just spending our money hand over fist like it's nothing, and then
Yeah,
they
they
give
fucking
themselves
mutilated
raises.
monkeys under our fucking money. Or with our fucking money.
Oh, not only that,
Well-
they're taking aborted baby fetuses and then growing like human cells on rats.
Yeah.
Read
it's
about that
disgusting.
during COVID. Right. Yeah. Why are you doing that?
Here's the real kicker. Here's the real kicker. We already are affecting their pocketbook because one slush fund is gone. True. There's going to be more. I
Mhm.
guarantee you. Every
thing is, folks-
agency.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
Every
go ahead.
agency in Washington, they're dirty. We all know this. We just didn't have the proof. Thanks to Mr. Elon Musk and President Trump, now we know for certain. We're already hitting them in the pocketbook. That's why they're screeching so hard. Wait till they squeal like pigs when we really hit the big mother load.
Well, here's the thing. They're already calling for actual violence.
Yeah, they are.
They are saying, we're going to fight this in the streets. We
Good
should
luck.
be street fighting and shit like that.
Bring it.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry. But here's the
Sure.
thing, folks.
Your mama.
Here's the thing, folks. Any politician, be them Republican or Democrat,
Yep.
that calls for fighting in the streets, for fighting, period, like violent fighting of protests and whatnot, and if there is then violent protests, they should be censured, and there should be a vote to remove. Now, unfortunately, that would require the 2/3 vote, which will unfortunately never happen because Democrats will never kick out their own. Republicans are fucking dumbasses. They will kick out their own. So yes, they have a little bit of moral integrity there. However, the fact, fist them all and break down the minimum wage and see how well they get along. See how quickly things change. Yeah, I say, I agree with Sexy Goth Girl. Bust their wages down to minimum wage.
Or the average of whatever the people that they claim to represent, in your district. If the median is $54,000 a year in your area, then you make $54,000 a year. If the median is $112,000 a year, then you make that.
Nope. Here's what I would say. Here's the thing. I agree with one of your earlier things, Kate. You come into work, you don't get paid. Period. You sacrifice not just the day's pay, you're going to sacrifice a quarterly earning.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking vote present on any issue. You sacrifice your pay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That should be a drafted resolution by Republicans because here's the kicker, here's the fucking kicker.
Here's the kicker, fuckers.
Yeah, here's the kicker, fuckers. Here's the fucking kicker, fuckers. Right now we have a majority. And if it goes to a tie, guess who would fucking break that tie for the
Vance.
resolution? Vance. Yep.
Or Sparrow Johnson.
Or Johnson, yep. Here's the thing, folks. We could do it if the Republicans could do it if they wanted to.
Well,
Get rid of the ability to vote present, or draft up a bill that says you sacrifice a day's pay if you vote present, or for every time you vote present. I'm sorry, that should be or if I wasn't so fucking deboosted on X, if I had like 1 million fucking followers, I would put out a one of those poll things. And I would say, should politicians be docked pay for every time they vote present on a bill or on an issue?
Well, yeah.
And then I would tag Elon Musk and Doge. I mean, if I had 1 million followers, that's one of the things I would do. Should they be docked pay for every time they vote present? Because that's all those fucking idiots in the Democratic Party do. They only, or they don't like it. Well, we're present. Nope. Okay, so you're not gonna get paid today? Okay, good. I'm sick and tired of this shit, man. We're gonna move off of politics because honestly, if I get too much into a political discussion, it's gonna turn into an Orange Hat Uncensored stream. And
Yeah, I'm already heated. I'm like, these fuckers.
I'm heated myself, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't get. You all know me. I don't usually get too political. I am actually going to stick around for the discussion because I want to hear your thoughts, y'all's thoughts on Dredd, if that's okay.
Okay, so
That's
yes,
good.
we are now going to move this to the Dredd conversation. Let me just go over to media assets and do this. This is the movie we're going to be discussing, folks. And abracadabra, alakazam. Look at that. We have a new background. But yeah, Dredd, Carl Urban, Lena Headey,
Olivia.
I don't know anybody else in this fucking movie that's notable.
Most
much,
definitely.
Yeah. The woman, or the girl who plays Rookie Anderson, she's a good actress. In this movie, she's a great actress. I thought she was very good in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to get too much into spoilers, folks. This is essentially early on in Dredd's
go
career.
ahead. I don't care. Go ahead, do spoilers. I don't care.
All right, so yes, this is a movie that is early on in Dredd's career. He has not yet earned the legendary status that he is known for. I believe, or he has started to earn his name a little bit here and there, but in this movie, it is clear that nobody fucking knows him to the level that they knew the Judge Dredd in Stallone's version.
Yeah,
In
but
Stallone's
he
version,
is
he
far
has a
enough to
different
like
quality.
train. He's far enough along to be training the rookie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Anderson, and I like the way that they play off of each other, and I really like Anderson's little like gift that she has. I thought that was really well.
Because in the comics, folks, I haven't read the Dredd comics. I know from the special features of the DVD that I own of this movie. Dredd never removes his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the big things from the previous movie with Stallone. A lot of people had a problem with that because Dredd basically no longer, or kept his helmet, or took his helmet off most of the time, you know? But in this one, Carl Urban kept that fucker on because he's like, yeah, he doesn't take it off. And there was a time in the comic where he took his helmet off, and then they blocked it. They censored it. They censored his face with a censored block, a black block that says censored. No joke. Now, here's some of the one of the craziest fucking things that they have in the comics, because make no mistake, folks, it is a fascistic government in Dredd. They are judge, jury, and executioner. Due process does no longer exist in this light, or in that world. Law collapsed. Megacities Megacity 1 spans from fucking Boston, Massachusetts, all the way down to Washington, D.C. Megacity 2 is somewhere over on the West Coast, and then there's Aspen Penal Colony, where it used to be a skiing resort, but then they converted it to a penal colony. And the desert, or the deserted wasteland, or the cursed earth. None of that is really explored in this movie. This movie is kept very compressed, very grounded in the meat of the story. Dredd is on
Which I
patrol.
like. Which
Yeah, that's one
I
of the
think
great parts
adds
of it. Yeah.
to the. I think it adds to the movie because it gives you enough interest of what led society to go to this, like, just, hey, this guy's judge, jury, and executioner all in one. Because you're like, I would be against that, but then he's the protagonist. You know what I mean? Like they intro it, and just to be frank, like I saw this one before Stallone's version, so I watched them out of order. So my first iteration with Dredd was this movie, and so it piqued my interest of like, ooh, what's the society that we're living in? But then it keeps it all in like one kind of like apartment building, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm. And
But it's
those are
a
called
beautiful, like,
blocks. Yeah.
self-contained. Yeah, right, the block. It's a self-contained, like, here's him on one mission that he had within this, cell block.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give you like any indication of what the world outside looks like, which I liked because it piqued my interest.
Yeah. And here's the thing, folks. The amount of crime in the city is so rampant that judges can only respond, no joke, to 2% of the crime. That's how bad it gets in Judge Dredd. And one of the things, they don't address this in this movie, but in the comics, if you're fat, that's illegal. No joke. It's illegal
Because you're
to be fat.
hoarding, resources. Yeah.
If you got chub, you're under arrest. That rapper, what's her name? That sued Lyft. God help her in the Judge Dredd universe. Man. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, even Mama in this movie, even the Lena Headey's character, Mama, she's thin and she's like running a whole freaking, like, she takes over this
Drug
whole
trade.
freaking block. Yeah, she's like running drugs, so she's rich, but she ain't sitting around like, binging, food or anything like that, or being gluttonous in any way.
No, she's getting high off her own supply.
Yeah, which the visuals in this movie for them, like, because it's kind of like an inhaler. The visuals for it are really good. Like when she's in the bath, not sexually, guys, but like she's in the bath and she like lifts her arm out of the water. You're like, oh, that looks cool. Like, yeah, it looks really cool.
Basically, the drug is called slow-mo, folks, and it slows your brain's neural firings to make you perceive time as if it's passing at 1% its normal speed. Essentially, it is slowing your brain down to the point of what the fuck? That kind of shit,
Which makes the ending, and I know we'll get there, which makes the ending super cool. Like, you're like, oh shit, oh
shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just remembered there is a person in Brendan Gleeson's kid who played Hux in the Star Wars Disney trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Donald
Gleeson, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Gleeson. He plays in this movie as the computer whiz kid. And he has implants in his eyes that we actually see how those got put in there. Mama did it. Folks, this movie is brutal, by the way. There is one small sexual scene. It's literally like 5 seconds long because Rookie Anderson is I love when they're at the Hall of Justice. It's like she passed, or she took the entrance exam and she scored 2 points or 2% below a pass. Well, what's she doing in a uniform? I love Dredd's there. It's like, what's she doing in a uniform? Ricky Anderson, how many people are observing you? Then you see the fuzz or the screen get a little fuzzy or light up a little bit too. What can you tell me about the person I'm with? Male, another judge. I sense anger and control, but there's something beneath the control. Something almost, okay, that's enough. And you could just see Dredd, he's not even really responding, but you could just know that he is getting really fucking pissed in that moment.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Carl
"She's
does a really
mutant."
great job of having like 60% of his face covered and yet still
Yeah.
showing a good amount of emotion. And
Yep.
I like the team up between Anderson and Dredd because Dredd is very by the books. He's like,
Yes.
why are you in a uniform? Why is your helmet off? Why you know,
Yep.
you dropped your gun. Like he's like giving her rules in the beginning. And
It's an automatic fail.
It's an automatic fail. Yeah, this is an automatic fail. And at some point, she loses her gun, or the gun gets taken by
Her primary weapon. Yep.
Yeah, her primary weapon gets taken. So she's like, "All right, well, I've already failed, but I have to. We're stuck in this block with these people, and we need to like take them down." So she already in her mind is like, "Okay, I failed, but this still needs to get done."
Until
And,
this is over, I'm still allowed to dispense justice.
Right.
What she
And
says.
so there's what's the minor spoiler of like at the end of the film, Dredd kind of gives her like the seal of approval, even though she broke some of his rules. So even though he's like a straight by the books dude, she's a really good foil to him because she got the job done with him, but she had to break some of the rules or bend some of the rules that he had in place. But at the end of the day, she got the job done. And the scene between oh shoot, what's his name? Like the
Okay.
right hand man to Mama.
That would be
Wood Harris's character.
the black guy.
Anywho,
Woody Harrelson?
yeah. No, not Woody Harrelson. Wood Harris.
Yeah, the black guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kay, I believe his name is.
Okay, yeah. He there's like a moment where you see like there's a scene where you see like inside he's like, "Oh, you want to get inside my head? All right." And then she's like, "Oh no, I've been doing this for a while." And she like flips it on him.
Yeah.
A really great
yeah.
scene.
That was so fucking great.
Oh
like,
my
hey,
gosh, it was
I can play mind games too. And she
Yeah.
just fucking
and then
feminizes
and
him.
you don't
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then you just see him like she walks away and you just see him like pissing his pants. Like you just see the puddle of like him peeing himself and it's like oh, she's like, okay, ooh, you know. And it you're like, oh shit, like that's what kind of movie this is? Like the first time I watched this with my friend, there was a couple scenes that we rewound to watch again because we're like, that was just so badass. And that was one of the scenes we're like, damn, Anderson, shit.
Because here's the thing, folks. There comes a part where Dredd is he's gone beyond tolerating the restrictions of the law at this point. Because Mama basically unloaded on 2 levels of the block and killed a bunch of innocents trying to kill them. And it's like, she just wastes 2 whole levels. Sound like a little overkill to you? Now, thing is, I don't think or if we would have killed you in the bust, she would have let us walk right out of here. So I'm guessing there's something she doesn't want you to tell us. So spill it. And he starts beating the shit out of the guy and getting ready to kill him. And that's when she steps in and plays the mind game on it. And it's just such a great moment. And it's like, figured that would shut you up. And because he's like, if you're going to be in my fucked up head versus your fucked up head's going to lose. And it's just so great because he has her down stripping and whatnot and getting all freaky on him. And then she just walks up to him, hey, I can play mind games too. And then she makes him feel like she just got he got his dick bitten off by Lena Headey's character Mama, because she was using information that she learned about Mama when the doctor was going through her background. She feminized her former pimp with her teeth. But that dude's sack off and whatnot.
Yeah, Mama
So-
is crazy. Like,
Oh,
she
yes.
started off as a prostitute, got her face cut up, and was abused, and then she's like, "Oh, you want to see a psycho bitch? I'll show you a psycho bitch." And then she takes over the block, and is kind of addicted
She
to drugs
kills
and stuff.
every other. Yeah, she
Yeah.
kills every other fucking drug gang.
Yeah,
She takes over the whole fucking block.
She takes over the whole thing,
also
and yeah,
locks it down. She also locks it down, and she's like, "Peach trees." That's the name of the block. This is Mama. There are 2 judges in the block. I want them dead, and the whole block is shut down until they are dead.
and I love like Judge Dredd's response. He's like, "Mama is not the law. I am the law." And then he like,
Oh yeah,
like
that's after after Anderson.
that's
gets,
after that's later,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
but I was like, and then he
know
like
that
ends
whole
his whole
speech by heart.
speech, and then
Yeah.
and then he ends his speech, and he's like telling everybody like, she's a criminal, blah blah blah, and then he's like, "And as for you, Mama, judgment time," and you're like, yeah, it's
And
so
here's
cool.
the thing, folks. You see the different levels of Judge Dredd in this. You can see that he's not willing to, or he won't just waste kids. He's like, what's going to be? Body bags, juve cubes. Makes no sense to me, or makes no difference to me. But then he goes and uses stun shots on the kids.
Mhm.
But then after he gives that speech, you see how brutal he can be,
Mhm.
because it's like, okay, you want war? Fine. Fuck you. We're at war. And they send a contingent after him to where he just projected his speech there, and then he's like, incendiary, and then just wastes the whole fucking area, burning all of them to death. And it's like, holy shit. And I love what he's like, how the fuck are we gonna stop this guy? Call 911. So then we get the bent judges. It's like, are you fucking serious right now? I love that
even
too,
love,
though. The
like,
bent judges.
Oh, for sure. And I love that he just kind of rolls with the punches. He's like, "Oh, you want to play dirty? I'll play dirty." And then like I think it's at the end where he's talking to the chief, and they're like, "Oh, so what happened here?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a drug bust. Like, no big deal." And the guy or the chief is like, "You kind of been through it, dude." And he's like, "Perps were uncooperative." Like, he's just like, another day at work, like, and
he doesn't mince words.
Yeah, no, and I like that because he's just like a no nonsense. I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna take out this fucking crook. And may I say, Lena Headey, as everybody knows her from like Cersei Lannister, but like this is, I think, my first, other than the Jungle Book movie that she was in. I think this was the only thing I had seen her in. What's that?
300.
Oh,
300?
well, I didn't watch 300
Sarah
until like a
Connor
couple
Chronicles?
years ago.
You never
Sarah
saw
Chronicles?
300?
No.
Yeah,
Sarah
until a
Connor
couple years ago.
Chronicles?
I never saw 300 until like a couple years ago because
Nice.
in high school everybody just quoted it. So by the time I watched the movie, I was like, I've fucking seen this movie without seeing this fucking movie, and it kind of
I don't think
annoyed
she had
me
a
how
kid
much.
during 300. After Game of Thrones, you could definitely tell she had a kid because her boobs were bigger and her hips were wider.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, she had her first kid like during season 2, I think it was season 1, season 2.
Yeah.
That's why she wouldn't show her body in like all of the Cersei Lannister nude scenes. Spoiler alert: were not Lena Headey's body; it was a body double.
Her walk of shame was not her.
Correct. It was somebody else, and they
So
like
they actually managed to paint that woman's face on somebody else that cleanly.
you can't tell, like it's clean, but like there's a few instances where you're like, what? So what they did is they had her wear like a nude leotard, and then they got a body
Okay.
double. But Lena Headey has like tons of tattoos. Just Google Lena Headey tattoos, and you will
Yep.
understand.
You're right.
Uh,
Actually, her tattoos are showing off in this movie.
yeah, they are.
Oh, you know who
And
else
she
has
has
a
a
lot of tattoos?
ton of them. She has a
You know
ton
who
of
else
them.
has-
But go
You know
ahead,
who else has
Ambassador.
a bunch of tattoos? Kristen Bell.
Mm.
Kristen Bell has. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jag and Army Wives.
But back to my original point, Lena Headey
Veronica
plays
Mars, too.
such a
Anyway.
good bad guy. She plays such a crazy bitch.
Mhm.
Like she does it well. Like that's, oh man, she's just good. Like I just really
Well, here's
enjoyed
the
her
thing.
character. Even though I wanted to see
She's-
her like taken down, I was like, man, she's enjoyable to watch. Like this is fun.
I love how and here's the thing. I love how she's thought a lot of the shit through. And even down to that little jewelry that she has at the end of the movie.
Hmm.
But I also like Dredd's counter. It's like, we're about a couple 100 kilometers up in the air. How's the range on that thing? I'm guessing it's not as much as you want it. So when he gives her the how do you plead bit, or reads her charges, it's like, how do you plead? And then he makes her take her own fucking drug, slow-mo, and she inhales, and she's like, I don't fucking care. That's basically what she's saying. Defense noted. He shoves her out a fucking window. Dude. It's like, damn! And she rides that high all the way down to the...
All the way
whatever
down.
Fuck.
To your
That
point
last
about her
effect,
thinking things through, it was really good, right? To your point about her being really smart and thinking things through, it's because I was thinking about this. I was like, well, the slow-mo, like it slows you down in the moment, but like usually druggies are like dumb, you know? But the drug didn't make her stupider because she was using it several times throughout the movie, and probably before, you know, we like
Mhm.
before we see her in the film, or like Dredd comes. So I don't know what, you know, obviously it's a fake drug, but like the drug effects of this, like it slow-mos you down, but then
It doesn't rot your brain. It just slows it down.
yeah,
It does.
right, because she's actually like a crafty villain. It wasn't like a normal like drug bust style cop movie, where it's like, oh, this guy's brains rotten out of his, like melting out of his ears. Like, no, she's pretty smart and crafty, and it makes for an interesting counter to the judges trying to take her out. And she, you know, has this whole plan. She's got all these followers. Like when she, you know, it just it's an enjoyable film. Highly recommend.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And the rewatchability on it is like 10 out of 10.
mm-hmm. One of my favorite parts is right after they use the heavy cannons. They go looking for Dredd in them, and Dredd grabs her right hand. Can't remember his name, but he just throws him off the fucking edge, or off the ledge, and Lena's like, looks up like, what the fuck? I mean, that was the first time she looked unsteady. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Who the fuck am I dealing with here? That's the first time she's like, oh my god, who the fuck is this guy? Because she just blasts, folks. She uses these huge fucking guns. And levels, 2 fucking whole levels, just to try to kill the 2 judges and her fucking drug, or her fucking drug distributor. Because she doesn't want him to talk. Right. And it's like, this dude just fucking survived all of that and just murdered my fucking right hand.
Yeah.
That was, it's like, I'm just taking out trash. This is your guy? Fuck him. I'm coming after you next.
Yeah.
It was so fucking awesome. this movie has such great lines. Carl Urban was fucking born to play this goddamn character.
I'm
I love
sad that they
I
didn't
love
have
the
a sequel
sequel.
with
Well,
Carl in it.
they've been trying to get it. They said, or unfortunately, the movie didn't do well. Unfortunately, it didn't.
And that's
gain
why
enough.
I said it was underrated, because it
Yeah.
like I hardly heard any buzz about this film, like at all. And
But the thing is, it made its budget back.
watch it is like, this movie's great.
Yeah, it
Who
made
watched
its budget back. It made its budget back on the DVD sales.
Hmm.
It broke even through after marketing.
Good job,
And
guys.
it's like,
Good job.
We want it back. We want a fucking sequel. It's like, we need a fucking sequel to this movie, man. And it's perfect because it could be 10 years later or however long later, because then it can show Dredd in his more legendary status.
Right.
It would be great to have Judge Dredded, or whatever that other fucking that antithesis of his character, which is also a judge. Not Rico, but there's another one in the comics that is similar to him, but even just completely fucked up. But his character, his speech in this movie, I know that speech by heart. It's just so fucking great, and I'm gonna fucking recite it. I love it. It's like, inhabitants of Peachtrees, this is Judge Dredd. In case you all forgotten, this block operates under the same rules and laws as every other. Law is not the law. I am the law. Mama is a common street criminal, guilty of creating narcotic slow-mo, guilty of kidnapping, and currently under sentence of death. Anyone who obstructs me from carrying out my duty will be treated as an accessory to her crimes. You have been warned. As for you, Mama, judgment time. I mean, it's the way that he says it is like, anyone who obstructs me will be treated as an accessory to her crimes. And they immediately focus on the kid who was operating the computers, Donald Gleason's character. And he is shaking like a fucking leaf. This kid is terrified. And I love that, because they find him just outside Mama's lair near the end, and he's like, I can give you the code, and that's when she comes up. She's like, I don't need you to give us the code. And she reads his mind and finds out he's not a perpetrator.
Yeah.
I love that moment. And
yeah.
I love Dredd too. It's like, care to explain yourself, rookie? Aiding and abetting a fugitive is not only a failing offense, it's a crime. And she said, it's like, I picked up the fail when I lost my primary weapon. I'm not going to be a judge, and I get that, and I accept it. But that kid is not a perpetrator. He's not a perpetrator. He's a victim. And until my assessment is done, I'm still allowed to dispense justice. That's why
I think Anderson is a perfect foil for Dredd, because she kind of gives him that perspective of that. Because the entire movie, that's the sense that we get from him. He's like terrified of Mama. He's like literally like shaking, probably peeing his own pants, like, looks like a tweaker. And I think that Dredd in that moment, again, you 60% of his face is covered. We just basically see his chin and his mouth and like upper lip a little bit. But I think from what I read of that scene, like, he has mad respect for her, because Anderson's willing to stand up to Dredd and stand up for the law, but then she's also willing to give mercy the same way that he gave mercy to the kids.
Yep. And I also like that because he's assessing her throughout the entire movie, and we also see her growth in this entire movie, where she is, Dredd basically pushes it's like, his sentence is death, by the way. And so she has to pull that trigger on one of the perps. And then, which comes back to play a little bit later in the movie, but I'm not going to spoil that. But then we also see her, how her character grows, and during the bent judge, or during the bent judge moment, which was nice. But I also like the end of that bent judge moment, or the bent judge chapter, because Judge Dredd gets shot, folks. He gets injured in this movie, and the guy, or one of the bent judges, is about to fully execute him, and I love that. Wait, and the fucking judge, he's like, wait, did you just say wait? Judge Dredd, the Judge Dredd, tells me, or is so fucking weak, and he wants me to wait. Wait for what exactly? I mean, this dude goes off on a fucking ego tangent, and he's like, no. And then fucking Anderson shoots him. Wait for her to shoot you. It's fucking hilarious. It's like, oh my god. Annihilus, we're gonna wrap this up, dude. Sorry, Bob. We're gonna be wrapping this up a little bit, or in a little bit. But yeah, that was, or actually after this bit here. But oh my god, that was just one of the best fucking moments. It's like, no, wait for her to shoot you. And then they get their little field med kit. But the ending is, I love that, because this is Dredd is by the book. Because earlier on, it's marginal. It's not, or she passed, or she was 2 points below a pass. It's marginal. It's not marginal. She failed. And so Chief Justice is like, she's getting another fucking chance. And so at the end of the movie, yes, she had a lot of failed, or she picked up a lot of fails. She lost a primary weapon. She fucking let go a potential perpetrator. And, whatnot. Because even under duress, it's still a crime to fucking lock down shit when you're not supposed to. But I do like what he said. She's like, okay, so what's your assessment? Is she a pass or a fail? And by this point, Anderson already thought she was a failure, and she handed over her badge. Judge Dredd, she's a pass. And I love that, because it just works. Because it's like, this is a guy who absolutely upholds the law by the book, but understands that with raw potential and a little room to grow, Anderson can be one hell of a fucking judge. If they can create a helmet that doesn't interfere with her psychic abilities. But yeah, how would you rate this movie out of 10?
Just subjectively speaking, 10 out of 10. Rewatchability,
Definitely.
10 out of 10. It's so fun. It's a fun movie. It's a fun watch. It's a badass movie.
Oh yeah.
So subjectively, 10 out of 10. Objectively, I would say a 9, 9.5.
Yeah, because looking at it, there's a couple of scenes that are slightly repetitive. They actually use a couple of scenes that are repetitive in the slow-mo scenes and thought scenes. It's clever editing. However, it's catchable. So objectively speaking, 8.5 to a 9. But the story is good. The writing is good. You got good special effects for her situations, like when she's reading minds, you get a sense that she's reading somebody. The slow-mo effect was freaking awesome. You get that Neo enhanced filter. You have good digital effects. You have good you have a good plot as well. I mean, this is Judge Dredd in his earlier years. He's not the legend yet. So, yeah, definitely an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. Subjectively, 10 out of 10. Moviegoer, pure entertainment value, dude, this is a 10 out of 10. And so, yeah, with that, folks, we are going to be wrapping it up. I'm sorry, Nihilus. Dude, next time, if you want to hop on, we will, or I'll possibly drop you the link. But we are wrapping it up here because we go only about 2 hours. Ambassador, anything you want to say before we go to plug your stuff?
Well, I will say, sitting in on the conversation, you've definitely my interest has already peaked, but you have definitely incentivized me to check out this movie. I will definitely add to the Ambassador movie collection, most definitely. In terms of what's coming up, me and Mad Ambassador are going to be doing a series of videos for the month of February. We're going to be discussing some romantic fairy tales from the Disney Vault. So be sure to check, those will be uploads. So be sure to check that out. We're going to be starting a new review series here in about a week or two. We're going to be covering the Orville seasons 1 through 3. So be sure also to keep an eye out for those. And also going to be concluding the Tarantino podcast series with my friend Ace. We will be discussing the film that made Tarantino's name in Hollywood, and a movie that I had no idea how much I was going to love just by the cast. And that movie is, of course, True Romance. So be sure to keep an eye out for that when it gets uploaded. So that's the long and short for me anyway.
As for me, folks, tomorrow I will be doing my theme stream. Let me pull up the one that I'm going to be doing. It is the Metal Gear Solid favorite storylines or favorite video game stories for Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4. So stay tuned for that, 1 p.m. Later this month, me and Mara J Chato, are going to be discussing John Wick's Chapter 1 and 2. And we are also going to be discussing Law Abiding Citizen and Punisher 2004, which we discussed last week, I believe. But yeah, everybody else is doing the whole month of love thing. Me and Mara decided to do a theme of month of hate. It's like, what's the opposite of love? Well, there's hate. Fuck it, we're doing hate. We're doing vengeance. And I love it.
Hey,
So,
whatever
yeah.
works for you.
Exactly. Whatever gets your rocks off. But yeah, with that, Friday night is Orange Hat Uncensored, if I'm able to do it, because I would have done it last weekend, folks, but I got hit with norovirus pretty fucking hard. And let's just say it wasn't pretty. So yeah, I look pale right now. I was looking ghost white Friday because of a lot of stuff. If you know what norovirus is, you know it's not pretty. But anyway, yes, Orange Hat Uncensored should be back, and next Sunday we are returning back to Sundays for the weekly recap. What movie should we discuss? I mean, we've been on a gun kick. So what's a good gun movie for another gun movie? Shoot 'em ups and whatnot.
Ooh.
Oh, you said it. Shoot 'em up with Clive Owen.
Oh.
Nah.
And Mark.
I've never
No,
seen that.
okay. We can do Tombstone.
I have seen that. And I like that. I mean, shit. That movie has so many freaking actors that are well known now. Oh my god. What actor didn't play in that fucking movie?
Lena Headey.
She wasn't alive yet.
Oh, yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, the fuck she
Tombstone came out
was.
in '93, and she was in the Mowgli story
Yeah,
movie
she
that
was?
year.
96. She was like
Oh.
Yeah.
17 in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, she was
okay,
like
fine. My
20.
bad. My bad. Okay, my bad.
No, you're
But,
good. I was just
alright.
like, who wasn't in that movie? Lena Headey.
Carl Urban.
It's
No, he
funny
wasn't in
real
that
quick
movie.
before we get off. I saw this funny meme and it was like Carl Urban in sci-fi versus Carl Urban in fantasy, and it's whether or not he has long hair or not. So if he has short hair, it's sci-fi. If he has long hair, he's in fantasy.
But here's the common denominator. He always wears a helmet. Unless it's the Bourne Supremacy where his character does not wear a helmet.
Does he wear a helmet in
He didn't
as
wear a
Bone?
helmet in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
He didn't wear a helmet in Pathfinder. But he
Should we
did
stick
get the
to-
Nail Moon Bloodgood.
Should we do the Stallone Dredd next week?
I mean, we could.
I mean,
I don't know if you. I don't think you've done it recently, have you? Or
No.
But we could do. Well, the colors do Tombstone the week after.
Yeah, we could do Tombstone the week after next week. So Dredd
Okay.
next, or Judge Dredd next week. We got Dredd, and now we're gonna do Judge Dredd next week, folks.
Oh, comment. He didn't have a helmet in Star Trek, the new Trek movies, with Chris Pine and
Yep. Hardwick
Skylar.
up, though. Yep, good to see you.
okay. Oh, when they
Yes,
were
yes,
like
yes.
space jumping.
Yep.
No, he didn't have a helmet at all.
No.
Bones never
yeah,
wore a
he didn't
helmet.
have a helmet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bones didn't. Yeah. I do love that. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Okay.
I mean, he played Bones really fucking well in that. But anyway, folks, we do gotta end it here.
Yeah.
Thank you all for tuning in. Everybody, Hardwick, Vanya, Annihilus, Nerdy Ogre,
CJ.
good to see ya. CJH, yep, Sexy Goth Girl.
I think that was everything.
Conroy 1776
Yeah,
and
Conroy.
Riot Kitty. Thank you to everybody on X who tuned in. Y'all are freaking awesome. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow at 1. Make sure that you sub to Ambassador and follow these two on Twitter, or X rather, and follow me here on X on my 2 accounts. And yeah, I will talk to you all later. And until then, folks, stay humble.
Are you done? Are you done?